And welcome back to my summer reading list, which is my project while I'm rusticating in sunny Spain, Andalusia, Cold Mountain, it's the name of the village I'm living near. And I'm going to put up another video today, which is my next book review, as I want to kind of get a few kind of up there. Apologies, I had a problem with my first book review that I put up yesterday, which was that my QuickTime didn't save it properly, and then I had to sort of bodge it in sort of iMovie, and I think I got an SD version and it doesn't look quite as good, not quite sure why. So hopefully this will work out better. Okay, so just to remind you, the format here is I'm working through a vast pile of to be read TBR books, which I've accumulated. Maybe like you, I used to be a voracious reader. I mean, 2-3 books on the go, bang out, read a lot, even well into adulthood. That kind of eroded the last couple of years. I don't know, combination of kind of, life pressure. By the way, this is still, there's still a scar from my crazy ass cat Effie, who may or may not make an appearance, when I was trying to get her to the vet for her pet health certificate, whatever the hell it's called, that you have to do now because of Brexit to move an animal, and she was not into that day, and that's going to be, I think that's from May, still not quite there, so yeah, wow. Anyway, the format of these videos is that I am going to quickly identify the book. I'm going to say very quickly if I think it's of interest. I'm based my sort of 5-star review system, right? And then if you want to bail, you bail, right? You say, that isn't a book that I would ever want to pick up. That's not my genre, that's not my author, that's not my topic. And so there's no particular value in listening to what this dude has to say about it. Fine, right? If you want to stick beyond that, then you have the invitation to listen to my thoughts on it, which won't be, an hour worth of chat, right? It's kind of, is this book, my filter is this book a book that I'd want to permanently keep in, hopefully at some point, some consolidated library, though what the hell what happens to that library after EOL, I don't know, right? I mean, I suppose you try and donate it if anyone has the interest. I mean, I'm quite disappointed by kind of, the state of where we are with books. I mean, that's a generalization, okay? I know an awful lot of people are still absolutely passionate readers. Just keep it up, very, very good. I think a lot of people have kind of gone to Audible, which I am a member of. I haven't seriously pursued a book. Sometimes I think listening to a book on Audible is cheating a little bit. I don't know. Have you really read the book? I don't know if that's sensible. I like the physicality of books. They're designed to attract me and my eye when I go into Foyles or Waterstones or wherever it might be, right? And people have put effort into the art. It's a bit like old obviously I'm the kind of guy who would be into vinyl. I'm not in the sense of I don't have a proper record player for various reasons. But yes, I mean, I understand the art and the design hit that you get from that, right? And as I've said in another one of my videos, yes, I have Kindle, I've got the Kindle app, I've got a nice iPad now and again. What I tend to do is I tend to download sample and kind of work through that, and I think, okay, yes, then I would probably buy the physical book. I dislike the reading I don't hate it. I quite like comics on a Kindle as well. That's might be a topic for another time. I don't think that particularly works. So anyway, I'm a book guy, I'm a physical book guy. I like the font, I like the fact that somebody's gone to the effort of producing, choosing the paper, choosing the dust cover, right, making the thing, and I like that. But unfortunately, what I seem to have become is I've gone from being a book reader to a book collector. And I think that's a bit absurd, really. And I'm kind of doing this sort of, temporary thing, whatever it's going to work out to be, over in Spain. And my kind hosts have transported. I've kind of, I knew I had 94 books basically, and I think I got donated a couple, and so let's call it 100 books. I'm going to work my way through these 100 books, okay? And if you want to stick around, then fantastic. If you, I'm going to make it clear using the thumbnail what the book is, so even if you open the video, you'll have some idea about what I'm dribbling on about today. Okay, right, so let's get cracking. So today's book is a non-fiction book, and it's story of the Challenger disaster. Challenger, a true story of heroism and disaster on the edge of space. Now, this guy, apparently I'm very interested in, I absolutely adored the TV series, which wasn't based on this. So he wrote apparently the standard book on the Chernobyl nuclear disaster, Midnight in Chernobyl, which after reading this I would certainly want to kind of get into, but I'm also sworn off buying any more books. You're happy? I'm very happy for you to give me a recommendation, but I'm going to work through these damn books first. Now, this is a new book. I bought this when I was just back in the UK in July, breaking my own rule, but I'm interested in the topic. And I'm quite interested in non-fiction books written by journalists, because if they kind of really get their teeth into a topic, that can be a very interesting, thought through. They often really kind of understand the need for narrative and for a hook and for various tools of engagement, strong rhetorical tools to make you want to read it. So now I would say I would give this, I'm going to say 4 stars out of 5, but I would still say this is not a book I would need to permanently keep in, the famous putative final library, right? And I'll tell you why. But first off, this isn't just about the Challenger, not about that day. It uses that day as the jumping off point, and he talks a lot about the history of the US space program and some of the kind of the politics of that, but also the economics of that. There's a great quote from one of the early Gemini astronauts where they asked him how he felt about being in his tin can up in space, and he said, "I always reflect on the fact that every single component was won by lowest bidder." And that is definitely a thread that goes through the number of threads that go through the story. Now, I'm not sure. Did I see the Challenger disaster in real time? I don't know with the time difference. I don't think UK people could see it at that time. Well, I would have been in the UK in '86. So certainly I was very, very aware of it. I was aware of the Shuttle. I'm a space fan, right? So, I'm of that generation who, when we were asked about what we wanted to be at school, we said astronaut, because that didn't seem to us at kind of, 7, 8, 9, Brits as we were, to be an impossible dream, okay? We didn't understand that, I think history's verdict now is that the Apollo mission was, we thought it was kind of, industrializing space, that it was kind of like it was a done deal. We didn't realize this was very precarious. These were kind of huge, they were moonshots, as tech companies kind of take up the slogan later, right? They were, one-off, gigantically complex engineering projects, and but we didn't know that at the time. And I'm also a science fiction fan, which will probably become part of the topic as the YouTube channel persists. Right, I'm trying to sort of be in the middle of the screen. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, so I'm interested in all that. But then I also saw the very, very good, I might put a link to it, the excellent William Hurt playing of Feynman in the Challenger Commission kind of drama. and I thought that was very, very, very striking. Did the same thing I did yesterday, and I tapped. Well, actually, the screen went dark, so I presume that's because I've been rambling on for so long. So sorry, this is another two-part stitcher. Beg your pardon. Anyway, so I'll crack on. Right. So so I was interested in that. I was interested in the kind of the fight. Now, what this book tells me is that there were some critical cost-saving compromise decisions made. Like, I didn't realise that the idea for a solid rocket booster was a kludge, right? It was a way to save money. It wasn't really what the original plan was to have. So you've got the orbiter here, and then you've got a sort of space planey thing that takes it off into orbit, and this thing would come down and land and be refueled and start again, and that would really have advanced the whole kind of redundancy, achievability, affordability, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, that wasn't happened, so we had the rocket boost. Now, the O-ring thing, which if you watch the William Hurt, that was like new news. Well, it was not, because they knew the O-ring thing, and he does a very good job of building up the tension about that people knew in the supplier that the O-ring thing was an issue, and blah blah blah, and that kind of stuff. So we have a number of threads, like I said. So you've got the space program and the economics of the space program. You've got the politics of the space program. You've got what the whole kind of point of the STS, space transportation system, was. And I didn't know. Maybe I knew this, that there was going to be a separate kind of. There was going to be a transpolar version. There was going to be another launch site. There was going to be. It got all kind of scaled back and whatever. Now, the book is good. The book is, I think it's gripping. I think it does tell you interesting stuff about not just the management and the economics and the kind of engineering challenge, though the tiles, wow, the tiles thing was a really stupid idea, and it was so complicated, and wow, why did you do that, guys? Don't tell me, because I'm sure it was a very good engineering reason, but it was a massive compromise that caused. There's always dependencies in these kind of projects, which I find really interesting. So that's all interesting. The human drama that we hear about. Do we hear a little bit too much of the story of the astronauts and their CVs? Well, he's trying to humanise them, and yeah, but I mean, there was a little bit of that, right? A bit too much of that, really. And we, an awful lot about Kristen McAuliffe. Okay, not trying to be cold-hearted, but if you're going to look for cuts, you could have taken 20% out of the book, mate, really, on that kind of stuff. Then we have a very different view about the aftermath and the commission, and Feynman was seen like as a little bit of a dick, really, by the other members of the commission, because he was a bit of a glory hunter, and they weren't that. That's the version that I got from this story. Okay. Anyway, the long and the short of it is that it was good, it was interesting, it was gripping. I wanted to know more. But I think it's a one-off read. I think it's, it was an investment of money as well. It's 25 quid kind of thing. So I guess I'd like to maybe try and resell this. I certainly would pass it on. I don't see any need for me to reread this. But I enjoyed it. I got something out of it. I think the guy's a good writer. He seems to be Brit, but he was very well edited to be a very convincing American. Long and short of it is, if you're interested in space, in the challenge, in the STS, in the Challenger, in that kind of. Also, there's great stuff about the mood in America is in the background. The mood that goes from Nixon to Carter to Reagan. That's well reported as well, kind of thing. I think that is, as cultural social history, interesting. And at the end of the day, it was one thing I didn't realise. I don't think. Perhaps I'd seen documentaries about this. I did know that the guys didn't die immediately. That the crew component of the orbiter kind of landed, broke up on landing into the Atlantic. But they would have been maybe not conscious, but they were certainly alive. And there is evidence that one of them one guy leant forward and tried to open the oxygen valve on the captain's, commander's. Wow, I mean, God, can you just imagine, really? And terrifying, moving, dramatic, strong things. Not for everyone. I think there's a lot of detail. I think you've got to be interested in the topic to kind of make it all the way through. I mean, it's including notes, right, and an index. We're talking 561 pages here, okay? But I liked it, I enjoyed it. 4 out of 5 for me. Not a book I would want to reread. Happy to pass it on. And that's my review, my summer reading list. Challenger by Adam Higginbotham. Okay, so that's me, that's my review, and I guess, you know, like and subscribe if you want to, and, you know, keep reading. Okay, cheers, bye-bye, bye-bye.